I absolutely love discovering hole-in-the-wall places before they become popular and lose their charm. That's why I often find myself exploring random city areas and back alleyways. You wouldn't believe the number of unique places I've come across doing that. I once found a back alley concert venue that doubled as a bar/costume shop. Then there was the exclusive hidden anime movie theater and countless other random hidden speakeasies. The best thing about it is that afterwards several of them became my favorite regular haunts, bringing me joy countless times per week. That was until I discovered the Smile Room. My best friend Paul and I found it one day while exploring this rundown outdoor mall complex, inhabited with abandoned stores. He had heard from a friend that the area would be a great place to take creepy photos, which was definitely an understatement. Once we arrived, the parking lot made me think of one of those old westerns where the tumbleweed bounces across the completely empty town. There was literally just our car and one other car parked all the way across the lot, but I think that one was abandoned. After taking some photos, I needed to find a bathroom and thought there might be one in this atrium at the center of the place. Immediately upon entering, I already got a bad feeling. It was really creepy in there and looked like no one had set foot inside for years. We walked back, kicking every bottle and piece of trash we could, enjoying the loud echoes they would make. There were 2 abandoned stores in there that were obviously closed down and covered in spray paint, and a little bathroom sign was just beyond them. Paul stayed in the center of the atrium and played on his cell phone while I walked over to the bathrooms. On my way in, I saw this potted tree and a spray-painted orange planter. It had a pink X sprayed on it, which I felt was a bit odd, and figured I'd grab a photo of it on the way out. I didn't take long, but once I was done, I was surprised to see that Paul was nowhere in sight. He definitely was one to play tricks at others' expense, so I wasn't too worried at that point. I also looked back over at the planter and noticed that the wall behind it now had a set of double doors I hadn't noticed before, and decided to go take a peek on the other side. Maybe that's where Paul was hiding after all. A loud echo emanated from the large metal door as I slowly pushed it open. Behind it was a sterile white hallway, like the ones you go down if you ever use the bathroom at a traditional indoor mall. Then down to the left there was this door all by itself, with a phone lying on the ground in front of it. "Paul?" I yelled as I headed towards the door. I kneeled down and saw that the phone definitely looked like his, so I picked it up. I then gazed up in front of me and noticed that the door had something written above it in red letters. It said, "The Smile Room." That was when I heard laughing coming from the other side. It was Paul's voice and sounded as if he was having a great time at my expense. Seriously annoyed, I pushed open the door and went in. It led into a stone hallway which almost seemed like it was from medieval times, and had rounded ceilings entirely lit by candlelight. At that point, I started thinking it was one of the greatest finds of my lifetime. The theming was immaculate. Only problem? There was no Paul anywhere in sight. I walked down to the end of the hallway and into a circular area with 5 wooden chamber doors, and at the center was a statue of a man with a massive head and enormous troubling smile. "Paul, what the hell is this place?" I yelled, still thinking he might be hiding somewhere watching me. Picking a random door, I went and opened one and stuck my head through. There was Paul, running around the corner at the end of the hallway. "Damn it, dude!" I yelled as I started chasing him. Every time I got around a corner, though, I'd see him go around a different one, or into a random door. I eventually got into another hallway, which led to 5 more doors, just like the one I had originally come in through when I started. That really freaked me out. Giving up on Paul, I started trying to backtrack, but it was no use. I'd come too far. I started frantically going through every door I saw and running down every hallway, looking for a way out. Until finally, I went through a door that led me back into one of those sterile white hallways from the beginning. Only it was slightly different this time. Instead of the door being to the left side of the double doors, it was on the right. I didn't really think much of it and quickly walked out of the hallway and back through the double doors. But this time they didn't lead to an atrium. In fact, they didn't even lead to the same complex I'd been in before. They entered into some sort of indoor kids' amusement park with a giant playground and arcade. I saw a food menu on a table that said Neb's Fun World on it. It was someplace I had never heard of and had no idea how I'd gotten there. I walked outside and saw that the parking lot was also different, and my car was nowhere in sight. Terrified, I pulled out my phone to try to call my parents, but their number was disconnected. I started anxiously calling contacts in my phone, but all the numbers were either the wrong person or were disconnected too. Then I got to Paul's parents' house number. I called it and he actually picked up. Only he claimed to have no idea who I was. At that point, I was pretty sure what must have happened. I had somehow entered some sort of parallel dimension or something. One where everyone I knew was slightly different. It was the only way I could explain it. With nothing else to do, I decided to try to go back into the smile room and find my way back. As I got in and started walking down the hall, I turned back for a second and could have sworn I saw the silhouette of giant teeth closing behind me in the corner of my eye. I started trying door after door, hallway after hallway for what felt like hours. I ended up finding a door that led into an atrium, just like I'd originally come in through, but my car in the parking lot was a different color. I knew if there was even a slight difference, it wasn't going to work, so I just kept trying. Then I found it once again, but that time my car wasn't even there, and it looked like the surrounding area was the 1980s or something. I figured at that point, I needed to start marking the places I'd been. I found a blue spray paint can in the trash, and started spraying X's somewhere visibly, so I'd know I'd already been there. I swear days must have passed as I explored every option, and I began to notice I was growing really fatigued, and my skin was starting to get these weird rashes on it. I sat down in one of the circular areas with the statue, just to rest, and my hand started bleeding from one of the sores. I knew the smile room was doing something to me, but finding my old reality was going to be impossible. My theory is that it knows you won't find it, so you have to keep coming back again and again. That's when I decided I wouldn't play its game, and I was just going to pick one, and that would be it. So the next place I found, I got out. It seemed to be a similar time and place, and I even found my house. But I can never really be sure that it was exactly the same. The other thing is, over the past year, my exhaustion and those sores have gradually gotten worse, and doctors can't explain why. I tried telling them about what happened to me, and about the smile room, but any attempt to go back and prove it has failed. It seems that those doors are gone again, so I'm pretty much stuck here. Doctors have told me they're worried that I don't have much time left, and I'd tend to agree, but I also don't think I was ever really here at all. I'm pretty sure no one gets out of the smile room.